It's that one moment, the one every fighter is grinding for. All that sacrifice, all that training, it all comes down to a number on a scale. And for a split second, it all pays off. But just like that, triumph can turn into terror. The celebration is cut short and everything just goes dark. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. This is the story of the Smotherman collapse. We're gonna break down that really shocking moment at the UFC 324 weigh-ins, where a fighter's biggest sigh of relief was followed just seconds later by him hitting the floor. So let's set the scene. We're in Las Vegas. It's the morning of January 23rd, 2026. This is the official weigh-in for a huge UFC card. You can feel the tension in the air. Fighter after fighter is stepping on that scale, trying to make their fights official. And then it's UFC bantamweight Cameron Smotherman's turn. He steps on the scale and the official calls it out, 135.5 pounds. He did it. He's on weight. The fight is on. You can just imagine the relief in that moment. So he does the usual thing, right? Poses for the cameras, gives a flex for the crowd, and then he turns to walk off stage. His job for the day is done. Or so it seemed. Because in those next few steps, something went horribly wrong. He just falls right there. The successful weigh-in is completely forgotten as doctors and officials rush over. In the end, he's actually carried off the stage. He couldn't even leave on his own 2 feet. Well, the immediate result is pretty obvious. The fight is off. His big matchup against Ricky Turcios at UFC 324 is officially canceled. I mean, for Smotherman, his whole fight week was over before it really even got started. And that just leaves one giant question. What on earth just happened? Now, you know, in the world of combat sports, when a fighter collapses at a weigh-in, everybody's mind goes to the exact same place. There's really only one obvious suspect: the absolutely brutal process we call weight cutting. So for anybody who's not familiar, weight cutting is, well, it's grueling. Fighters basically force their bodies into an insane state of dehydration to just sweat out as much water weight as they possibly can. This puts an unbelievable strain on your body. We're talking kidney damage, severe electrolyte imbalances. Your body can even lose its ability to cool itself down. It's dangerous stuff. And listen, we're not just talking about losing a couple of pounds here. It is really common for these athletes to cut more than 10% of their body weight. So think about it. For a 150-pound person, that's like losing over 15 pounds of water in just a couple of days. It is pushing the human body to its absolute breaking point. And you can see how hard it is just by looking at the results from that same day. The same morning Smotherman collapsed, 2 other fighters, one of them a former champion, they missed weight by a pretty big margin. The pressure is just immense. So, okay. Seems like case closed, right? A nasty weight cut gone wrong. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Because not long after the incident, this whole narrative got flipped on its head by a statement from, you guessed it, the fighter himself. Smotherman posted a video online, and he went right at the assumption everyone was making. He said the weight cut wasn't the problem. And I'm quoting him here. He said, "I genuinely didn't cut very much weight for this fight." He told everyone that he's completely okay, but he insisted he came into fight week already light and only had to cut, in his words, very, very little weight. He even said he's gonna get more tests done to find out what really happened, which suddenly turns this from a cautionary tale into a legitimate medical mystery. So this totally shifts the conversation. We're not just talking about a bad weight cut anymore. We are now in some seriously uncharted territory, with this huge unanswered question just hanging over the whole thing. And this right here is the heart of the story. The assumption, you know, the one based on decades of fight history, was that a brutal weight cut caused this. But the reality, at least according to the guy it happened to, is something else entirely. We're left with this really dramatic collapse, with no clear reason why. And that leads to a pretty chilling thought. Because if Smotherman is telling the truth, if a very, very little cut can still end with a fighter collapsing on stage, what does that tell you about the razor-thin edge these athletes are constantly living on? Ultimately, it forces all of us to ask a much bigger question. Whether it was the weight cut or some other hidden medical issue, the image of a fighter succeeding one second and collapsing the next is a really stark reminder of the incredible risks they take. And it just leaves you wondering, in this pursuit of glory, what is the true cost of competition?